Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Alex Beyond Thoughts podcast with me, your host, Alex. I hope you are having a wonderful day or evening whenever you're listening to this. I wanted this episode to be all about scarcity and the scarcity mindset. So, this is something that I have struggled with, and it is a battle I am still facing currently. Um, because scarcity is such a pervasive kind of energy. It can really leak into so many areas of your life, and you might not even realize it. So it's kind of a constant one for me that I'm battling with and always trying to shift myself back into abundance and back into this higher frequency energy, right? So I've not entirely moved through or completely learned this one myself, but I thought I would share some of my tips for people that are also in this phase and are wanting to kind of move through this too, because it's all going to well talking about it after you've done it and after you've kind of like scaled a problem. But I think it's really interesting to speak about something when you're in the middle of it. And I'm not saying this to say that like every time I'm in the middle of something, I'm going to be talking about it on the podcast, but I think it's really important to speak to things in a really honest sense. And if I can help whilst I'm moving through something, then of course I really want to. So that is why we're speaking about it today. And as I said, it's just not something I'm completely over yet or completely through. And it's something I'm working towards actively shifting out of in my life. So I really feel like I have moments of deep scarcity, and then I have moments of like real enlightenment and abundance and this kind of like airy feeling, like just I know everything is going to work out. I know it's all going to pull through. It might not be how I wanted it in my mind, but it's going to be how it's going to best serve me in the end. Like I have these real deep moments of faith, and not even moments, they are probably more often than not in terms of like this deep faith that I know things are going to work out and things are going to end up for the best anyway. That's more like my regular. That is my constant. And I dip into scarcity and lack and fear when that feels challenged. So when I feel like that faith is being tested, when I feel like there's a challenge that's really big, when I feel like I'm not super confident or super trusting in whatever the scenario is, that is when I very quickly slip into scarcity, slip into lack, slip into fear. So it's more a case for me at the moment in the kind of issues I'm facing with the scarcity mindset. It's that I too easily slip into it. And I feel like a lot of people are like this. You can do a lot of love and light work. You can do meditations and all these kind of things, abundance frequencies, listening to like the is it alpha or beta, like beats, all that kind of stuff. Like you can have so much knowledge and so much practice in all of these things to keep yourself in a high frequency, but it's how quickly you fall out of that when you're challenged and when things are hard. So I find myself falling into this lack, scarcity, fear kind of mindset or energy when I'm feeling challenged, when it's not feeling super good. So that's the way it is for right now. Maybe for the foreseeable future too. Like you can never really put a date on how you move through things. It might happen like a light bulb turns on one day. It might take months. It might take years. Like these things are really up to you and your processes and how much you're willing to lean into them and see the depths of despair, like that kind of thing, and how you choose to move back out of it. So really your own healing is up to you, and it's up to your journey, and it's up to how much you are willing to experience it all in order to see the other side. Because I feel like a lot of us get really stuck in this place that I'm currently in, which is the middle, where you're mostly existing outside of it, but you very quickly and very easily fall into it. And you're in this kind of middle stage where you've done so much work already, but you have to face some things and some tough things in order to be able to get to the other side of where you do feel like you're healed, you're integrated. And there's never 100% right. You're probably going to exist at 90% versus 10% of scarcity and lack and fear because we are human. It is programmed into us to feel fear, to feel these kind of feelings, right? but it's not beneficial, it's not productive, it's not the kind of energy and frequency we want to be living in day to day. So I want to talk through some of the things that help me move through scarcity right now. So I've just got a list of a couple of things, and I just wanted to share them with you so that if you felt like you were in this place too, where you're shifting into scarcity, where you're shifting into fear, where you're shifting into lack, these are the things that are going to help you. It probably might also help to explain what I mean when I say scarcity. So this is like always checking your bank account in fear of what money's coming out, what's going in. It's double, triple checking the price of things before you pick it up to buy it. It's scarcity in love and feeling like you can't give as much as you receive, or you can't receive as much as you give because there's always an imbalance. You're always about to lose love, or you're always about to receive love that's going to be taken away. It's in business when you choose not to invest in yourself or invest in your business because you think that spending that money or spending that time doing that thing is going to be taking away something from you rather than pushing you forward or being productive in a future sense. You can't really see past the immediate right now, how it's going to make me feel right now. It's in your career when you're in scarcity because you're too afraid to move or do something or challenge a conversation or approach a person that you think might be quote unquote higher than you at like job rank or whatever. It could be not putting yourself forward for a promotion because you feel like asking for too much is going to lose you your job or give someone a bad opinion about you. You're scared of what people think. Scarcity is so pervasive, and it is in so many areas of our life. It's in food, like how many calories you can eat in a day, or having to clear your plate really quickly because you're scared that someone else is going to take it away from you, or your siblings are going to eat all of the food in the fridge, so you have to hide your snacks. Like, scarcity is in everything when you are in this kind of mindset and when you're in this kind of energy. And it's just such a negative and draining energy that you end up spiraling further into it because it drags you down. So that is what I mean when I'm saying scarcity. It's this kind of fear and lack energy that things are going to be taken away from you, that you're going to lose things, that it's just this negative, heavy feeling that you're going to lose the things you want or you're not going to gain them in the first place. That is what I mean by scarcity. So from that, here are some things that I like to do or work for me to shift myself back out of scarcity or talk myself through this fear and lack mindset. So one of the first and most important ones for me, because I'm a very like audio-visual person, is listening and watching abundant people speak. So my favorite way to do this is in podcasts and YouTube videos. So I really love to listen to people with abundance mindsets, with this really high vibe way of talking, with a really enthusiastic and wealthy and like intelligent, I think is sort of the key word here, a really intelligent mindset and perspective on life, business, career, love, all of these things. That is the way to shift me out of scarcity, kind of like number one. Because listening to these people speak, listening to their perspectives, listening to how they work through problems or how they carry themselves in relationships, in love, in business, it's so opposite to what I can sometimes bog myself down with thinking and feeling. So hearing these people speak in these ways, hearing them shift my perspective in kind of like real time is so helpful for me. It really like flips a switch in my brain to say, no, you need to think like this too. And you can. You just have to choose to. So hearing abundant people speak and talk about really intelligent topics, get my brain ticking, shift me back into this state of abundance. It's invaluable to me in my life. And if I didn't have podcasts and I didn't have YouTube videos, I would probably crumble on the floor because right now, hearing other people who are in a state of life, a way of being that I really want to consistently uphold for myself, it's a kind of blueprint and it's a guide for me to get myself there. So hearing how they shift themselves in their state, how they eat for their health and wealth, how they speak in their relationships, speak in their love, all of these kinds of things, how their relationship with food comes about, nutrition, all these kinds of things, it really helps me shift my state from this lack and this fear and this scarcity and everything's going wrong and I'm in this negative spiral and I feel like a depressive episode is coming on. Like this anxiety and this kind of negative draining energy can really quickly get shifted for me by hearing and watching these people carry themselves in the way that they do. So that is my number one tip. Find your niche, because there are many a podcast, there are many a YouTuber. Some of my favorite people are Jay Shetty. I love his podcast. I don't watch it very often, but when I need it, it absolutely does it for me. Jay Shetty, Alex and Layla Hormozi for business things. They are a godsend, honestly. They they are so incredibly intelligent, so incredibly kind and giving to that audience that it puts me in a state with my community, my audience, making my content, building my brand that just elevates me. So Alex and Layla Hormozi. Who else do I listen to? I'm having a brain blank now. Anyway, I'll list some people in the description and I will write myself a note right now to do that. But those are some of the kinds of people that really help me shift state. Another thing I do is refer back to pieces of content that have moved me into either a neutral or abundant state. So something that really quickly does this for me is Pinterest. Pinterest boarding really quickly realigns me to where I want my brain and my mindset to sit in my daily life. So this can be starting my day with a little Pinterest moment. It can be in the middle of my day if I'm having a slump, if I'm feeling like things aren't going well, or I'm just kind of shifting into the scarcity mindset, going on Pinterest, going through my already curated boards to see the kind of like 2024 vision or the lifestyle that I'm trying to create for myself. Seeing that in picture form, again, visual, I'm a very visual person, it helps me shift state super, super quickly because it's that driving factor. And I'm not saying comparison, but it is a driving factor for me that if I want to live the life that I am curating in these boards for myself, then I've got to do the things and show up as needed in order to have that. So with that being said, pinning bottles of champagne and luxury yachts on the Mediterranean and business meetings in high rises and communities of women going on a trip together, like these kind of things are what I am trying to create for myself and my life. So if I'm in bed with a packet of Wotsits and like Gilmore Girls on in the background when it's not my scheduled rest time, then no, of course, I'm not going to be in my high rise on the yacht, chilling by the beach with work kind of working itself out. No, of course, I'm not going to be living that life. So it's this kind of reset in my mindset. And it is this push to help me shift back into a state of abundance, of hard work, of doing the things that are required of me, of following the plan instead of my mood. So that's another thing that I really love, referring back to pieces of content that can move me into neutral or abundance. So that piece of content for you might be your favorite Instagrammer, your favorite YouTuber, your Pinterest boards, your 2024 vision board that you made at the start of the year, books you love, whatever, self-help, like whatever, like literally anything, whatever those pieces of content are that can help you shift back into that state, you'll probably have ideas of what they are already. If you don't, go find them. These things really help you shift in the incremental moments, like when you start that next episode of Netflix, instead of doing that piece of content that you wanted to create, it's when you get home from work and instead of working on that thing and that hobby that you really love, it's avoiding it at all costs and scrolling TikTok for 7 hours, right? So it's in those micro moments that these things really work with referring back to content. The next one I think is really effective for most people, but it's really hard to do when you're in this scarcity, lack, and fear mindset. And this is changing your physical state and your environment. Now, this can come in a few different ways. It could be exercise, it could be getting into nature, physically moving your body, it could be going to the gym, getting a sweat on, releasing some endorphins. It can be going to that really fancy restaurant and just ordering a starter and then leaving. It can be going to that hotel and having a cup of tea. Like, it doesn't have to be super strenuous or like super expensive to shift your state and shift your environment. But as long as you are in abundance of nature, if you thrive by the water, going to a lake, going to a river, going to the seaside, it's putting yourself in situations where you get to flow, putting yourself in situations where you get to feel this energy and this abundance and this higher frequency that you want to bring in to your regular daily life. If it means that instead of you love water, but you have no water close to you, it means you have a bath every day. Might be a waste of water, but you know what I mean. Every other day, twice a week, whatever. If that means that that fills your cup up, or you choose to go for a massage every fortnight because you're filling up your abundance with physical touch, whatever the things are that are going to help you shift your state, like your physiological state in your body, how your body feels within itself, the sensations you're experiencing, the energy you've got, this kind of, you know, what this light in this area and this like joyous, grateful feeling feels like in your body because you would have experienced it very clearly. Trying to recreate that and shifting it into this abundance and this gratitude is going to be so much easier when you're changing your state and you're changing your environment. It could also be shifting around your room, buying some nicer bed sheets, getting a few fluffy pillows, or I think they're called like jelly cats or something. Getting a few of those that help change your state and change your mood and change your environment. Whatever it is that you think is going to pull you into this best, do that. Your hot girl walks, your gym, changing your bed sheets, going outside and just sitting in the park with a really good book. Change your state, change your environment, and you will change your mindset. So this is something that's really going to help you shift into this abundance. I also, with this, have to avoid things that I know actively put me into scarcity and actively look for things that will upgrade my frequency. So avoiding things that put me in scarcity, like constantly checking my bank account if it's not in a good state, like avoiding people that put me in a scarcity mindset, people that don't think that you can do, be, or have it all. Avoiding those people actively. It's like deciding to change my relationship with food because food felt scarce at one point. It's avoiding these things that I know actively put me into a scarcity mindset and working on things that will upgrade me into this abundance and this higher energy. To that, again, Pinterest, going around nice architecture, changing your environment, like these things I've said before, but just in different ways. Great literature, listening to people on podcasts. Look to upgrade yourself in these things and watch your mindset change. It's all good and well saying that you want to change and you don't want to be in scarcity and you don't want this fear and this lack, but are you looking to upgrade it? Are you looking actively to change this? Or are you just listening to a podcast once and saying, well, hopefully that will change everything? You've got to be actively doing this. So avoid the things that are putting you in scarcity because you will immediately know what those things are when you start catching all of this behavior, right? And then start looking to upgrade in those areas. So if you're shifting into scarcity around food, start looking to upgrade in food. If you're shifting into scarcity with your environment and the current living situation you're in, or the way your house looks, whatever, start upgrading that environment because that is the thing that's constantly shifting you into scarcity. So that is the thing you need to work on. So avoid what is creating this scarcity and this lack, and look to upgrade the thing that it is. So one of the final things here is actually feeling your feelings and not just shoving them away. When we say avoiding scarcity, we mean not actively putting ourselves in situations that create that. When I say you need to feel it fully, that is when it comes on, you're already in this scarcity, you're already in this lack, you're already in this fear, you are in this situation right now. Feel it fully, go to the full extent, really let it sit with you for a minute or 10 and see how you feel, but let it go after that. Once you've felt it fully, you then need to give yourself permission to let it go. And when your body feels ready, you'll feel it, you'll kind of feel it taking over into this like, okay, all right, I felt this enough. You can then let it go. Sometimes you really do just have to ride the wave and feel bad in order to then feel better. It's when we suppress, it's when we ignore, it's when we let these things build up, that is when they kind of come crashing down in a wave and we get really dragged under and really spiral. So simply feel the feeling, feel it fully. When your body is ready, let it go. That can be through shifting your state from that point. It can be through just breathing and literally breathe out the scarcity, breathe out this lack, breathe out this fear, and remind yourself with literal words, talk to yourself in the mirror, close your eyes, whatever, talk to yourself and talk yourself through this feeling that you are not scarce, that you don't need to fear this thing, that you haven't got a lack in your life, you've actually got an abundance. And then really be grateful for all the things that you are listing. If you're content with what you've got now, content might be a bit of a stretch of a word, but if you are grateful and you are caring towards and you are appreciating what you have now, anything you then will receive in the future, you're going to treat the same. You're going to be caring. You're going to be appreciative. You're going to be grateful for it. And the universe is then going to give you more. Because if you are shitting on the stuff that you got now, if you are hating on it and you're really down and you're letting it drag you under and you're spiraling all the time and you're really just resentful of the things you've got now, why would you be given more? If you can't appreciate what you've got now, even if it's not what you want, how would you be appreciative of having more? And that kind of seems like backwards because you're like, well, of course I'd be more appreciative because that's the thing I want. But would you? Because people have all the money in the world and they're not appreciative and they hate it and it's not good for them. People have nothing and they are grateful for their health and their family around them and the opportunities they might receive one day. Existing in this kind of continuum, if you're grateful and appreciative of what you've so far got, of course, when the universe gives you more, you're going to be able to appreciate it. You're going to be able to be really grateful and strive for more whilst also being content with what you've currently got. So ride this wave, feel bad for a moment, and then look to shift your state. And the final one, just shifting into this perspective that I am lucky regardless. I have my health, I have my friends, I have my business, I have intelligence, like all of these tiny little things that make me Alex, being really grateful for them and having a perspective shift when I'm in this scarcity and lack and fear of actually being me is great. The life I have is great. I just want to work towards more. And I'm going to do it by executing on these steps. That perspective shift helps pull me into abundance and this higher frequency pretty much every time. And those are pretty much the options I have for you for shifting out of scarcity and lack and fear. I hope this made sense. I hope you are taking something from this and saying, okay, there's this place in my life that does drag me down, that does feel really negative and heavy, and I'm going to choose to work on that. Absolutely perfect. And if you want to talk about it more, as always, you know where I am. All of my contact details are in the description. I would love to chat to you about this if you would like. So let me know in my DMs and we can have a little chat about it. But I hope if you are existing in scarcity right now and you are feeling fear and lack, that you know now a few ways to help shift yourself out of that. And that if you can be grateful for what you have now and appreciative of the current life that you've got, anything else you further receive will just be accepted with more gratitude and more appreciation. So I love you. I hope you have the very best week. I will see you very, very shortly for another episode. Bye, guys.